Hi guys, it's Zach here again to make another video. In the end of my last video, I talked about some exciting news I have about some big life changes coming, and I'm going to get to that later in this video. Um, First, I just want to start off with a little summary about my life path, my spiritual journey that I've been on, kind of what I'm coming from, what I'm going towards, and what my goals are. Um, First, let's just talk about what a spiritual journey even is. And it can mean a lot of different things to different people. It's almost a weird word to even use because I feel like it can have a lot of sort of negative associations or judgments attached to it. But let's talk about what it is. To me, the spiritual journey is just it's a process of letting go of what is untrue to see the world as it actually is. And I'll kind of give an example here. So say a baby is just born, a new baby is born and comes into this world. They come in as a perfect, clean slate, a divine, holy, perfect baby. Just no beliefs, no beliefs at all, just a blank slate. And then life happens to them. And it starts from day one when they go home with the parents, and just the first few years of just being at home with parents. And then as life goes on into daycare and school and so forth, as life goes on, events happen to the child, and then the child's mind makes a label out of the events that occur and turns it into a belief that this is the way it really is. It might say, I can't do this, I can't do that, that's not me, I'm like this. A lot of these can be negative, but at the time, it may help the child to survive the situation. But then it gets imprinted in the brain and labeled, and it becomes their personality and their beliefs, and then this is how they act and go about in this world. And it becomes very rigid and distinct, and it's the way they experience the world, and it may be completely different than the way someone else experiences the world. And we're all living in this same time, space, dimension, reality, but it can be extremely different for one person to another. And so to me, the spiritual journey is just unlearning and letting go of basically the shit that doesn't serve you. Negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, and these beliefs are all self-fulfilling prophecies. You believe them, and it makes you act a certain way, and then life happens to you, and it comes out as true, and it's just further reinforcing, and your mind gets in these patterns, and it's hard to break them. But that's kind of, to me, I think what this spiritual journey is about, is just unlearning those things and saying, what is it that I really want in life? What do I want to do? Like, who do I want to be? What do I want? And then becoming aligned with those things and going towards them, and not being hindered or limited by beliefs that don't serve you. So that's kind of what it is, to me anyway. And I guess I'll just do a little summary of how it kind of happened for me. It just kind of sucked me in, pulled me in, really. Let's see. One of the first things that really had an impact on me was it's just over 4 years ago, like probably around March or so, 2011. I started to realize and began investigating and looking into sort of all the corruption and just the kind of fucked up shit in the world, and conspiracies, all of it. Got super into it, really into it, researching everything, looking for truth, trying to find problems about this and that and how messed up the world is. And, you know, I kind of took it a little far and ran with it a little too long, I think. And eventually it wasn't empowering me. It was just making me depressed and feel like life was pointless and just like the world sucked and it wasn't uplifting or empowering for me. But I think it was an important stage to go through because literally like in like one day and then going forward from then on, my like world view just like was shattered. Like, and for me, it really all started by watching some videos and researching about 9/11. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but I just strongly believe that the official story is not really how it went down. You know, to what degrees, you know, are these sort of conspiracies true or not? I mean, who knows? But at the end of the day, what it came down to and what I've seen is that there's just massive corruption and money just rules the world. And I mean, I think everyone's waking up to this stuff and they know these things now. How, you know, they say something like the top 1% richest people in the U.S. own like 90% of the money, the wealth in the U.S. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? I mean, so I started seeing these things, researching these things, and it's just like, wow. I mean, I realized that the stories that I'd grown up with and learned and had been told my whole life just weren't true. I mean, for me, I thought growing up that the world just couldn't provide enough food for everybody, you know? These people in these other countries, you know, sucks. They're poor. They don't got food to eat, but, you know, that's just the way it is. The earth's not good enough. You know, wars, they need to happen because there's bad guys over there and they're coming for us. But now I see that those things, you know, it's not really quite that clear that like that. It's not the exact truth at all. There's a lot more going on to it than that. And basically all of our society and the world's systems and institutions, let's see here, like government, politics, banking, the economy, education, law, food production, medicine, energy, all these things are just corrupted and broken. And they're all just driven towards growth, and just more, and just expanding and more money. And it's really our money system is really flawed. It's a debt-based system, and more money means you need even more, and it's just everyone needs more, and basically we're brought up in this disconnected world where it's like you're made out to believe, and for the most part people do, that it's just everyone for themselves. It's like more for you or for them is less for me. That's the belief that's instilled in us and programmed into us throughout our lives. And just learning about these things a few years ago, 4 years ago now, it really opened up my whole view of the world, and it left me confused and just, wow, like, this is crazy. How can the world be this way? And it was really frustrating and hard to go through, but I think it was important. And see, another thing that has helped me or pushed me down this path, which is something that's tough and it's been a struggle, and that is I've just had various health problems. The biggest one is just chronic pain, just random pain that just really, in a lot of cases throughout my body, it's just come out of nowhere and it's just there, and I don't know what it is or why it's there. And then I also have had several acute injuries that just never seem to heal. And you know, I've been a little up and down with it, but basically this all started for me very originally. It started, I would say, about March, definitely in the spring, so of 2009. My neck just got stiff as can be out of nowhere, and that it's gotten a lot better since, but it goes through stages, and other parts of my body, different things have happened, and that's been tough. It's been really hard. It's taken away some of my biggest passions and favorite things to do, basketball and working out. I love doing those things, and I was really just starting to get into them like a lot more seriously, and then boom, that's when the problems really started, and it just started limiting me. And so that's pushed me on this path as well. And I know it's kind of important maybe not to identify with a negative thing like my body is hurting or in pain. And I don't have like a specific diagnosis or a label for this other than just I've had these issues. But at the same time that I don't want to identify with it, I can't really deny the fact that it's there, and it's had a huge impact on me and shaped me and my life and the direction I've taken. It's been tough. The suffering, though, it forces you to look deep within and to grow and to expand, and it forces a spiritual journey on you. And I do believe very strongly that a lot of this, probably all of this, it's created by me. Like, I don't completely understand it all yet, and I don't know how it's happening, and it's frustrating, and it's hard to go through, but somehow my mind, my processes, my going through life, like, I'm creating this, and I want to defeat it. I want to beat it, and that has put me on this path as well. I'm very really not into the conventional medicine, as I talked about just a second ago with the broken systems, and one of those is medicine, and it's mostly just surgeries and pills. It's mostly what it's for. I think modern conventional medicine here in the U.S. is great for emergencies and accidents, and maybe some stuff for injuries too, some surgeries, but as far as prevention and just like healthy living, and it doesn't work. It's not nearly up to par with a lot of the alternative medicine out there. And so that's really been my path. I haven't decided to go through and like look hard for a diagnosis. Honestly, there's just a million different diseases out there or issues that have similar problems, and the things I've experienced, I think they fit strongly with the symptoms of various autoimmune diseases, but really I'm not interested or worried at all about finding a diagnosis, because I know that really perfect health is, it's our divine right. It's there for all of us, and we just have to find it. And that's kind of been my pursuit. And labeling a diagnosis isn't really important to me, or helpful, I don't think, because I don't believe conventional medicine is going to really help me at all with it anyways. So that happened. That's been going on for me. And a little more on that, at the end of, it was the end of 2011, really around November, December-ish, I kind of self-diagnosed myself with Candida, which is like systemic yeast infection throughout your body and your whole gut and your intestines and your digestive system. Causes a lot of various problems, mainly just chronic fatigue and some skin problems, and then just digestive system problems and other stuff too. But and I think there's a lot of stuff with the same symptoms. There's so many things out there. But looking into that, I was like, I could have this. So I went ahead and I bought an ebook all about Candida, and went through that. And at this time in my life, I was I was like heavily immersed in the party lifestyle for a few years by then. It was just every weekend partying, one if not both nights, Friday and Saturday sometimes, with an occasional weekday here or there too. And it was just party, party, party. I didn't care about what I was eating. I just ate whatever. I ate junk. I ate McDonald's. I ate it all. Ate junk. And but then I got this ebook and I got serious and I got committed. I went hard at it, and I really just had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like, I mean, I kind of did, but I didn't, and that has just changed my life. I went from that party lifestyle, not taking care of myself at all, to being completely sober, eating just super perfect food. I mean, just so the actual diet, it was dairy free, gluten free, with high amounts of vegetables, basically, and I ate a lot of brown rice and vegetables and a little bit of chicken breast. That was kind of the main things, and it was also low fruit, like almost no fruit at all because of the sugar and fruit. I mean, there's various. I've kind of tried some other things now too, and there's a lot of different approaches with candida or with fruit. I mean, to me, currently, I think fruit is fine, but this thing had no fruit, and so I was doing no fruit. And I was also doing green juices every day. Green juicing every single day. And this was all, the time I was still in school, and this was all costing me a lot of money, and but I went ahead with it, and I committed hardcore. So completely sober, got on like a set sleeping schedule, going to bed about the same time every day, completely sober, going to bed at the same time, getting enough sleep, eating really good food, healthy food, tons of vegetables, no junk, no chemicals, no preservatives, no, just really good food. And then the other thing was, it mentioned in this ebook meditation, and at that point I had never done it before. I hardly even heard of meditation, didn't know much about it, but it was in the book, and I was committed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I mean, all meditation is pretty related, but there's different techniques and variations. But it kind of recommended just laying down on your back in like corpse pose or shavasana, a yoga pose. You're just laying on your back, palms up, and flat on the ground or a bed, and it said to breathe in, counting 1, 2, 3, 4 as you breathe in your mind counting, and hold for a little bit, and then breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold a little bit and breathe in. And I tried it out, and literally, I mean, like the first time doing it, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like I actually liked it. It was cool, and I was like, yeah, I can get used to this. So I started doing it for about 15 to 20 minutes every single day before I went to bed, and it said that it would lower my stress, and I had a few other like practical sort of applications or whatever for my healing process in this ebook, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that, but I didn't know what else it was gonna do. Basically, it like tremendously increased my compassion, like literally, all of a sudden, I became much less judgmental, like about people, and I couldn't, just hating people or things or being upset and angry at people and holding grudges and resentment. It became so weird, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, really, it surprised me. I was really surprised, but that was probably like the biggest effect that I've noticed from it. Yeah, and so anyways, after a few months of doing this, it was like about 3 months of eating this way and being perfect, and I started to feel a lot better. My body a lot of these problems went away, got a lot better. I was feeling a lot better. My skin was looking really good too, like looking a lot clearer and better. And I was just like, was feeling good. Some of my physical pains were even going away and getting better. And I was like, all right. But I was still heavily immersed in that party lifestyle. All my friends, continued partying, and that was really my support system. My friends. That was the life that I lived, and I was in that. And I still had fun partying, and so I went back to it, and ended up just kind of slowly eating worse and worse again, and partying just a little more and more. And but after a while, a few months of that, I just started to realize, like, man, like there was something to that eating perfect, getting good sleep, meditating. Like I had to go back to it, and it took a while. But then the next year, 2013, it was almost like the middle of the year, really. I started meditating every day, and I've basically been meditating every single day for the last 2 years. And I've read a ton of books in that time on spiritual stuff, like Eckhart Tolle, and talking about the ego, and all these other self-help books, self-help personal development books. They've all influenced me greatly, and put me in this position to just desire to improve myself, to go for what I want, to be what I want to be, do what I want to do, and to learn. Like it's like opened up my mind to, like, there's so much more out there. Like I believed those stories, that society tells us, of basically the story of go to school, get good grades, get a good job, work a 9 to 5, get a career, work until you're old and retire. And at the same time, we'll give you all these distractions and this entertainment to take your time and to distract you and to numb you, and so you can go home every day and look forward to turning on the TV, and you can wait till the weekend, and then you can party, and then Monday you can go back to that job you don't like. And basically, like, I haven't been able to fit in that role anymore. Reading these books and doing this meditation is just, and it's just opened my mind, and like there's so much more. Like we deserve, and we're capable and able to, like, love what we do in our life, and live every day with passion. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to go towards. Another thing too, yeah, like I just talked about, I don't care about all the distractions and the entertainment that we're given. When I started that Candida diet, it was just after I moved into a new apartment with friends, and we didn't get cable to save money. And that was the first time since elementary school for me that I didn't have cable TV. And my whole life I've been a huge sports fan, just sports, like watch sports all the time, play sports video games all the time. That was my main interests and how I spent my free time. And not having cable, and then going through with that Candida diet program, it just, and the meditating, and then it just, all of a sudden I was in this point where I was like, man, there's just no way I can continue watching sports and just spending all my time doing that, and then just, like, I wasn't going to do anything. I was just going to be the same person my whole life. Like, nothing was going to improve or change. Like, I want to grow. And that's what's happened to me from this whole process, this whole journey, the meditating, the eating good, and the books. It's just, I want to improve and grow, and increase my awareness of my own thought processes, and become more conscious of my actions, and go for what I want. And so It's been 3 years now. I've been working in a factory, so that's not really what I want to do, obviously. But I've been there for 3 years. Since right about the time that I ended the Candida diet. That was when I got hired for this job, and it pays really good, like about $20 an hour ish. At least here in Wisconsin, that's pretty darn good, especially for my education and work experience. It's pretty darn good, and so I've stayed this long because it was comfortable and I was making money. And I put that money towards really good things, towards awesome organic produce and really good food. And I've been doing yoga for a little over a year now. I got a yoga membership, and putting my money towards these good things. But as time has gone on, the longer I've been at this job, the more it's been like, okay, this isn't for me. I got to do something different. But I just haven't been able to do it yet. I didn't have the courage or the guts to do it because it's a big change. But really, I don't want to go to any job. And so that's actually the news I have that I talked about at the beginning of this video and the end of the last video. Is for the last 2 years, I've been thinking a lot about, eventually I want to quit and just do some traveling and just focus on doing stuff that interests me and what I want to do. And last summer, almost a year ago, I was really pretty sure that this summer I was going to be quitting. And I was like, yeah, I think it's time. But still hadn't been fully committed, and it was still scary. But then back in February, there was some interesting situation came up. There was some contract negotiations. I work in a union at this factory, and they ended up doing these negotiations, and there was a contract offer proposal, and basically they ended up offering everyone in the union a buyout, and they gave us a nice chunk of money. It was about $9,000 to just quit, a permanent layoff, and it gets taxed heavily, so it really ended up being just over $5,000, but still, it was a lot of free money. And when I went to Peru in March, I was leaning heavily towards signing up for it when I got back. I had to let my job know by mid-April if I wanted to sign up for the buyout. And I was coming back right at the end of March from Peru. So I knew when I came back I had about 2 weeks to decide to sign up if I wanted to. And I went down there thinking that's probably what I was going to do. And then coming back from Peru, actually, the last day in Iquitos, and then the day traveling back, and the first couple days at home, I was actually kind of had my mind on, one more year. I think one more year could be good for me. I'll save more money. And I was excited with the whole process with the ayahuasca. I was feeling a lot better in my body, and I was confident that one more year I could get deeper and strengthen my yoga practice and just get even healthier and better and save more money. And I was like, one more year, I'll feel better quitting in one more year. But then I went to work for a few days, and I was like, nope, can't do this anymore. So I quickly signed up for that while I still had the chance. And then actually May 29th was my last day. It was just 3 weeks ago. Done with my job. I got the buyout money. I added that to the money I've got saved. And I've got a newer car, 2013, paid off. So that's kind of my money situation. I've got, a fairly good amount. And we'll see how long it lasts and what I'm going to do exactly. First thing is I'm going to start off with a big road trip. I made a lot of awesome friends in Peru, like I talked about. I got friends all over the country and the world now. And so I'm going to start out just with a big road trip, trying to see as many of them as possible and as much of the country as possible. Some other things I might want to do during that is just I want to do some meditation retreats. I think there's a Vipassana meditation 10-day silent meditation retreats. I want to try that. And it's really, I don't have much of a set schedule other than, well, my apartment lease that I'm in right now ends at the end of the month, so that's only 10 days. And then I'm going to spend 4th of July weekend with family here in Wisconsin. And then I'm going to spend a week up north in the woods on my dad's land. And then I'm going to leave on, it's going to be July 14th is the day I'm leaving. That's the day I'm going to start the road trip. And yeah, I don't have much plans other than that's the day I'm starting, and I know many people I want to see if possible. I'm going to go east first, and then all the way back west, both coasts, bunch of states in between. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. It's just kind of going with the flow. It's kind of like, it's still a big, bold, risky sort of move to just give up a good, secure job without going immediately to another one, which is, again, that's the American dream, the story that we're kind of all fed, have a career, make good money, and then retire when you're old. But I'm just saying, forget that. I want to do what I want to do. So, and I'm just trusting that's all going to work. I mean, I don't know anything more than these next few months. And after that, it's like, I don't really know what's going to happen. I got some ideas and some interests. Again, anything with alternative medicine. And I'm getting quite interested in highly considering doing yoga teacher training and possibly health coach training. Both those interest me a lot. And I also want to do some energy healing work. I'd really like to try that. So those are some things on my mind, and I'm very interested in organic foods and permaculture, growing food sustainably, and healthy food that's good for us and the planet. And so those are kind of like my main interests and focus, and I have some cool connections now with the permaculture stuff that actually in Hawaii, so I might end up going there someday. Still a lot up in the air right now, and it's a little weird, like these last few weeks not having anything that I have to do. It's been sweet. I haven't had 3 weeks off of freedom in forever. So it's been cool, and yeah, that's kind of my life right now, where I'm at. And I've been thinking about starting this YouTube channel for a while, making videos. I've just been highly inspired by people who are making YouTube videos and sharing their stories. Several people online that really interest me, inspired me. So I've thought, it's time that I think I can share some stuff, and I'm excited to do this next chapter of my life and to do the YouTube with it, to kind of show what I'm doing, because I know that I know that there are a lot of other people in my situation who are just like, man, like I don't want to be in this role in society, this 9 to 5, but it's scary, and it can feel alone a little bit to like make these decisions. Like all the people in my life, most of them think it's like the boldest, craziest decision ever. Like a lot of them do anyway. So yeah, it's kind of tough, but if we all just follow our passions and do what we want and share, I think that's great for the world, because that's what the world needs, is more people following their passions and doing what they love and helping the world. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah, I'm really excited. See you guys.